Hey guys, how's it going? Whew, we are back for another Q&A and I am hiding under my heated blanket. It's kind of cold outside today. And so heated blanket, and we are getting started much later than I wanted. I think it's like 11:30 almost. Yeah, it was a slow morning. It's okay. We're outside now and we're gonna get some things done. We're gonna get our Q&A done, and then I gotta film another video after this. And so it's gonna be a really good day in the garden, especially now that it is cooling down. I prefer the cold. You're not gonna hear me complain about it. I'm just gonna let you know that it's cold and that I'm under a heated blanket outside. Hey, I'm in the middle of editing right now and realized that my microphone wasn't plugged in, and so the audio is a little bit rough. So just a warning, audio is a little bit rough on this video, and I am sorry about that. Anyways, Q&A, let's go over the videos from last week. And I think we're just pulling just a couple questions from each video. The first video was the Q&A. Do I want to become a master gardener? And should I have asked for a discount? And then we did planting 4-foot tall alliums, sad day removing the mahogany slender hibiscus, first container for the winter, and then are we even surprised at this point? And that's when I bought the Eugenia and I started some seeds. So it was an easy week. It was a mellow week. There was a lot of like going and picking up plants though. Like a lot of picking up plants. So the first video was the Q&A, and there weren't really any questions on there, which is great. There was one comment on there from Nicole, who I had answered last week, asking about why Janie and I took the same days off. And I think this is, so she responded, and I think this is so important that she responded. So she had said, "Hi Robbie, I'm very sorry for the way that my communication came across. With my disability, sometimes my words don't work properly. I thought maybe you and Janie maybe took a holiday together, that's all. I apologize to you, your videos make my day." And to that I do want to say thank you. This is the hard part about social media, is like, you know, you type things out and you can read it one way in your own mind and somebody else might read it a different way. And that is the hardest part about social media, is like things don't always convey the way that you think that things convey, which is, it's hard because like, I mean, I know people aren't always trying to be mean, and it could just be that maybe I'm having an off day and I read a comment a weird way or something like that, and then all of a sudden I get my feelings hurt when there was no ill intent on a comment at all. And I know that Janie has been dealing with like mean comments or comments that she's reading that she's interpreting as mean. Also, you guys are gonna hear chainsaws throughout this video, and I am sorry about that. We have exciting stuff happening. So that's the hard part about social media though, is like comments don't always get read the way that people think that they would get read. And I know Janie's dealing with it right now. She's dealing with some like comments that are coming across and they could just be being read poorly. Anyways, so to Nicole, thank you for clearing the air on that one. It could have, like I said, just been I was having an off day or I just read it wrong. And so that is the hard part about social media, is things don't always get read because there's no tone in between there's nobody reading it except for me, and so I can't always pick up whether it's me being crazy or if it's a mean comment. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Other question on that video was from Ian, and he had said, "I watch you every morning with my coffee. I'm wondering, have Freya and Monty ever met?" Amazing that so many of you guys watch every morning. I love that. I just can't believe this many people are watching every single day. It's so crazy to me. Love you guys for being here. And if you guys ever see me in public, say hello. I actually just ran into a couple of you guys while I was shopping with Jalen for our trip, and that was so cool. Literally made our entire evening. Jalen and I talked about it the entire way home, and it was really cool. So if you guys ever see me in public, say hello. Even Jalen, she got recognized at her work one time, which was really cool. So she's like, I'm famous now. So they actually have met. We met one time. Janie and I were headed to Cultivate, and Brent dropped me off. I stayed the night at Janie's house, and we took Freya down with us, and they met. And at first we were like, okay, we'll see how this goes. And at first they were not sure about it. And then holy cow, they ran and they ran and they ran and they just ran for like probably 45 minutes, an hour. That's all they did was run around. It was so cool. It was so sweet. So they did end up liking each other, and they have met. It was really cool that they got to meet. The next video that we did was planting 4-foot tall alliums, and my favorite ground cover. I cannot wait to see these alliums grow up. I already forgot where I planted them. I almost planted over the top of them. you'll see that later. Anyways, first question on that video is from Ann Pohl, and she had said, where can we get that hoodie? I will link it in the description down below, and I'll have it pop up on the screen right now. I totally forgot to link it in that video. It is one of my favorite hoodies. I just ordered it in like a green color, and I did size down in the hoodie. Like in t-shirts, I wear like a extra large, and then in hoodies, I usually get a large because I like them to be a little bit like more snug. And then the hoodie is actually a medium, and it's kind of like a shorter hoodie, so I feel like it would be like perfect for women. It's kind of like, I don't want to say cropped, it's kind of cropped on like men, I feel like. But I like exactly where it sits. It sits like right at my belt line, and then it's got a little like hidden zipper on the side, and it's got its main pocket too. So perfect hoodie. I ordered it in green, now I have it in black also, so it's my favorite. I will make sure I link it. The next question on that video is from Melinda, and she had said, love the bird on the bird bath, but does it scare off other birds? It does not. They don't even notice it. It's no problem at all. It's a giant crow, and I think that it's just like, it doesn't look too much like a bird, so I don't think they're worried about it at all. There's doves that land on it all the time. The next question on that video is from Pamela, and she had said, how will you remember where you planted your bulbs? Will you place a tag, especially when you plant your daffodils later? I just planted alliums myself. Exciting. I'm very excited about them, and I already almost forgot where I planted them. So my videos are usually kind of like my diary of where I put things. I can just scroll back on videos and I can remember. And I went to go plant something. You guys will see that later. And I was about to plant it right where my bulbs were at. So I did shift the plant, so it worked out perfectly. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do better about that. The next question on that video is from Jan, and it's more like a comment than a question. And she had said, hi Robbie, alliums are the best to keep moles and gophers out of your flower beds. After they bloom, let them die back and become brown, and clip the heads off and scatter them where you want more. Don't pull up the rest, they will come back for years to come. You might want to plant the ambassador alliums 2 inches deeper than it says. It will keep the stem standing straight in the wind. I have the best luck with alliums keeping critters out of my yard. You were smart for planting alliums at the back of the fence. Moles and gophers come to your yard from your neighbors. And that is a huge tip. So if you guys deal with that, they're not supposed to like alliums. I think it's the smell of them because it's so strong that they don't like the bulbs, and it kind of like radiates a little bit out, so it keeps them from coming into your yard. And then I probably should have planted those a little deeper after reading your comment. I still could go back and dig them up, but I would have to find exactly where, and we're just not going to do that. So if you were going to plant them, and when I order more next year, let's make sure we all plant them a little bit deeper than that tag says. Probably deeper is a little bit better, especially if you're in an area that gets wind. That way you don't have to deal with them flopping or snapping. Or you could also stake them up, just drive a bamboo stake in there and then just tie it to that, so that way you don't deal with them breaking. And I didn't even think about saving seeds from the bloom heads. So great tip. Thank you for putting that suggestion in there, and even the comments down below. You guys are all amazing. Okay, so the last question on that video is from Joey, and he had said, will allium bulbs eventually multiply? They will multiply and they will come back. Most alliums are growing zones 3 through 10, depending on which variety. So the broad spectrum is 3 through 10 that you can grow them, and they will multiply. And so after a couple years, it's something that you do need to like dig up and kind of divide them. I've got the ambassador alliums, which are the like bulbs that you plant and they make one big allium. And then I also have some other ones. I think it's the serendipity ones, which is like kind of like a cluster of a whole bunch of alliums. And then those ones you can like dig and you can divide those ones, and you can just put little clusters everywhere you want them. And I think those are like zones up to zone 9 is what I believe those ones are. So just look up which zones they are to make sure you can grow them. And then also they should divide for you and come back. And as we now know, you can also save the seeds, and you just sprinkle the seed heads everywhere and you'll get them popping up anywhere you want them. The next video that we did was sad day removing mahogany splendor hibiscus, but let's go shopping. And it's actually really nice that it's gone. It was getting a little too crowded in this corner. It was right here, and it was a little bit too much. It was beautiful, it was gorgeous, but it was a little ridiculous. The first question on that video is from C, and they had said, I'm curious, where did you get this done? I've always wanted to get a procedure like this done, but not sure where to go. So with that, I had a procedure very recently to get like a laser resurfacing to get rid of the scarring and get rid of like shrink my pores and get rid of acne scars. I used to have cystic acne when I was a teenager, and so I had really bad acne scars, and this is the second time that I've done this procedure. And so, like, I'm gonna show you guys close up. Like, you can see how big my pores are. This is after the procedure. So I have really, really deep pores, and I was starting to get like wrinkles here and like wrinkles here and whatnot. And so this procedure kind of like erased almost all of that. And like my nose was really bad. And I mean, like, the camera does a really good job not showing you guys that, except when I get close like that. And so it kind of like smooths everything out, gets rid of all the textures. It's kind of like a slow procedure, but it does help. I went to Dr. Hoodie in Chico. It's not a cheap procedure, but it's something that I'm doing every 3 to 4 years. It's not like a procedure that you have to do every single year, even though they do recommend you do it every year. I just could not afford to do it every year. So it's something that I save up for, and it's an investment in myself. And it's the refraction laser. That's what it's called. And basically it just like, it goes through and it resurfaces your skin. It burns little holes with the laser, and it's like a week's downtime. You can't go in the sun. You can see I'm still just a little bit red from it. And like, I got my neck done too. I mostly got my neck done because I wanted to get rid of this neckline right there. Kind of stresses me out a little bit. But I do feel like my skin feels so much better. I can like touch it and it feels smooth now, which is really nice. My pores are just still a little bit big. If I were to get it done every year, it would totally erase that problem. So Dr. Hoodie in Chico does it. You go in, you do a consult, and then they will schedule you for the exact procedure that you do need. The next question on that video is from C. Clancy, and they had said, "Hi, could you root cuttings from the spiral? I enjoyed the plant montage at the beginning of the video. Thanks." You definitely could. It's one that roots. I found it so affordable. I found another one of them. I found a whole bunch of them, and they were so affordable. So I'm just going to be buying them as big plants rather than waiting. I'm sure they grow pretty quickly because I've had to trim that spiral up 3 times just this year just to keep it in check. So I'm sure it's a very fast growing shrub. I'm sure you can take cuttings from it, and then you could train it into a 1 ball, or you could just train it into a shrub if you wanted. I think I'm just going to wait and see if I can just find more of them and just plant them as a shrub form. I'm staring at it right now. It's a beautiful spiral. So you can, I'm sure it roots easily. I'm sure you just need to start with like little tiny cuttings, and then just dip it in some rooting hormone, and then pop it in some soil. I probably wouldn't water propagate them. I don't know how well they would do because the stems look very, very woody. The next question on that video is from Marlene, and she had said, "Hi Robbie, have you thought about getting a wide brim sun hat? I never garden without mine. I'm 3 months away from 50 and people think I'm much younger." I actually have one, and I don't know. I can't bring myself to wearing it. So usually I have a hat on to do sun protection, and I do wear sunscreen basically daily, even on like overcast days, except I don't have it on today. But I am under the gazebo, so we're in the shade. But usually I have sunscreen on daily, and I do have a wide brim hat. Brent wears it all the time. I don't know, I can't bring myself to wearing it. I really should, and I should be taking better care of my skin. I try to take really good care of it, but I should be doing better things like a wide brim sun hat. When we go to the lakes or on very, very hot sunny days, I do wear it. Not every day. And the next video that we did was the first container for the winter. She's beautiful, and it turned out so good. Our driveway is gorgeous now with that planter. Very, very pleased with it. The first question on that video was from Sandy, and she had said, "Hi Robbie, it was fun shopping with you and seeing what you bought to go in the pot with the Alberta spruce. Did you end up getting the Eugenia topiary? Your excitement was very obvious." The pot looks beautiful. It will be so pretty with lights on it too. Love your garden math, too funny. The alliums will be pretty in the landscape too. The Scylla will be pretty too. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, it's all gonna be so pretty, and it did turn out gorgeous. And yes, I did buy the topiary. Couldn't resist. I had to pick it up. That was the next video. It was just too pretty to not buy it. And it was such a great price too, so it was basically free. Garden math. The next question on that video is from Sarah, and she had said, "I'm still confused on the cyclamen. Will they last all winter? How long do they bloom? Anyone know?" So I'm in a growing zone 9A, and they do bloom for me all winter long, just because we don't really get a freeze here. We get like maybe a couple nights that might hit 32 degrees, maybe a little bit lower than that, but not much. So for me, they last all winter long. They bloom all winter, even into springtime. They kind of don't stop blooming. They slow down in the summer, but that's about it. If you're in lower zones, there are cyclamen that grow in zones 3 through 8. I believe the ones that I have are zones 9 through 11. So I can't remember which variety it is. So Google which ones they are. If you're at the plant store and you're seeing them, just type in which growing zone is cyclamen and look up the botanical name of that cyclamen. It should say on the containers, and then that'll tell you which one that you're dealing with. And then you'll know these ones are for your zone, not for your zone. But ours should last all winter and even into springtime. The next question on that video is from Happy Dog Walks, and they had said, looks great. Do you have an issue with spruce spider mites like we do in Washington State? I have not heard of spruce spider mites, but we do deal with spider mites here. And so I will keep an eye on that because I don't want to lose those trees. There's a lot of things on the property that this coming year I'm going to be doing some preventative spraying for spider mites because I just don't want to lose them. And we've dealt with spider mites now for the last 2 years. I have a feeling that I brought them onto the property on accident. I bought a hop seed. I bought a hop plant, and I was going to grow hops up that black trellis that I now have this clematis growing up. And I grew it up there, and it was beautiful, and then all of a sudden it just like disappeared because of the spider mites, and I didn't know what it was because I had never dealt with them before, and it kind of got out of hand. And then by the time I was able to figure out what it was and start taking care of it, it was too late. And so I think that I just kind of introduced spider mites onto our property, and after looking it up, I guess hops are like a huge magnet and a huge transporter of spider mites. So kind of a bummer. We do deal with them now, and that is one plant that I will be adding to my like pre-spray just to keep up on it. And the last video for the week was, are we even surprised at this point? New plants and seeds starting, and that's when I potted up my Eugenia topiary, and then I started some seeds, and it was just a easy, mellow day. First question on that video was from Jessica, and she had said, hey Robbie, I put the Ultimate Backyard Gardener Bundle from Bootstrap on my wish list. First time seed starter. What podcasts or YouTubers are you watching, listening to? If you get it, you will love it. It makes seed starting so much more enjoyable. I have been using Bootstrap for 4 or 5 years now at this point, I think. Pretty much since we moved into this property. I have loved them, and I'm very, very pleased that they wanted to work with me. I'm very excited about that. So you will love them. I have loved them since before they even wanted to work with me, and I will continue to love them long after. So amazing quality. It's like you buy it once and you don't have to buy it again, and they're working on all kinds of ways to be so much more sustainable, which is exciting. They're trying to figure out a program that if any of your stuff cracks or breaks, you can ship it back to them, and they will guarantee that it gets recycled into new trays instead of going to landfills. And I think they're trying to figure out a way to make it so they can just send you a replacement, because they know that their stuff is it's an investment piece, and so they're trying to figure all of this out. I'll let you guys know as it does come into fruition. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, it would be really cool. So they're working on all of the details. And then as far as podcasts or YouTubers that I listen to, I don't listen or watch anybody that's garden related at all anymore. I just found myself comparing too much what I was doing for my videos and in my garden compared to everyone else. I'm a very slow gardener, and I do a lot of trial and a lot of error in my garden, which is fine. It's just kind of the way that I garden. I'm not afraid to take plants out. I'm not afraid to put plants in and fudge the lines and everything. So I don't really watch anybody who does any gardening. And the people that I do watch, this is kind of my my guilty pleasure, is I watch this one girl. Her name is Hannah, and she does a lot of anti-MLM content, so multi-level marketing, pyramid scheme stuff. And I usually throw her on. She's one that you can just throw on and you don't have to watch the video, you can just listen to it. So I'll throw it on when I'm doing things, or cooking dinner, or if we're driving somewhere. I usually just throw my phone in the cup holder and I let her play on the speakers, and I can just listen to it. And she does horror stories and things like that. So I watch a lot of I like stories is what I like to listen to when I am when I have free time. When I'm filming videos, I can't do that because I'm usually using my phone to film. And then also if I'm talking or there's audio in it, I just can't have like music playing, or like I don't want to have like earbuds in. So I don't watch anybody really, except for a very small little niche group, and it's just become my like guilty pleasure in the last like 2 months, right? That I've been listening to this. Yeah. It's been like 2 months, and that's about it. And then I'm sure that I will listen to a whole bunch of it, and I'll get all this information, and then I'll burn myself out a little bit, and then I probably won't listen to anybody for a couple months, and then I'll find something random that piques my interest. I actually really like this one. There's this one girl, I can't remember her channel, but she does like deep dives on like influencers, and I think it's so interesting. She like points out all the like crazy things that they do, and all the like comparison things, and like how like influencers are like toxic. And it's really funny because like I guess technically I'm an influencer, but I don't feel like I'm like a toxic influencer. Maybe I am, I don't know. But she goes into these like deep dives of these like people who do crazy things, and so I just like, I don't know, I enjoy watching that one, even though it feels like maybe it hits a little close to home. The next question on that video is from Mindy's Place, and she had said, "Help, will the Eugenia topiary drop its leaves for winter? I purchased one knowing it would have to be wintered over in zone 6A. I put it in the basement to overwinter with the rest of the plants, and it's dropping leaves like crazy. Did I kill it, or will it bounce back in the spring?" So it might lose some leaves, but if it's losing all of its leaves, it's probably in shock. And if it's in the basement, it could be that it's still getting too cold in the basement. It could be that it got too cold too fast. It could be that it's not getting enough light. And it also could be that it's drying out. So from what I've heard is that they do like a bit more water in their containers, and that they need a lot of light. So they need to be somewhere where they're getting a ton of bright light, or you might need to buy a like pendant style grow light so that thing can be getting enough sunlight. They have some really good ones on Amazon. I'll put a couple links in the description down below for some like pendant style grow lights. You can hang them from the ceiling, or ones that you can like just put in a lamp and make sure that it's actually getting ample light. So it just could be in shock, and so giving it light and making sure it's getting enough water, and that it's not too cold in the basement. And the next question on that video is from OXWoman8, and she had said, "Love, love, love the new topiary. Have you considered sifting your container mix to start your seeds? I sift my compost because I don't start enough seeds to warrant the expense of buying seed starting mix. I just bought an old colander at the Goodwill store and used it to sift the compost to make it loftier for my seedlings to push through. Love your channel. Cheers from North Carolina." I thought about it. We actually did it one time, and I was like, this is way too much work. I was like, if these seedlings can't make it through this, that is on them at this point. I pull out any sticks or big rocks that I see as I'm like filling the trays, but I don't know. It's just not something that I want to do. I tried it because it was something that like people had recommended. They're like, just sift it. And I was like, well, that's actually genius. And then I just did it once, and I said, never again. It's not for me. But props to you for actually doing it. And the last question on that video is from Debbie, and she had said, "Love to hear it's seed starting time. Not for me up north, but excited to watch. What is your favorite lettuce?" I love seed starting time too. It's one of my favorites, and I do a lot of seed starting videos, and I know that they get old and they get repetitive, but I do a lot of seed starting, and I kill a lot of seedlings. And my favorite lettuce is just a good old romaine lettuce. We go through a ton of romaine lettuce. We eat salads here probably 3-4 nights a week, and so we go through a ton of romaine, and I'm tired of buying it from the grocery store, so it is time for me to grow my own romaine. I grew iceberg lettuce one year, and they were the most beautiful heads of lettuce, and they tasted so good, which was kind of crazy, and we ended up giving a ton of it away because I grew so much of it, and it was pretty much all ready to harvest at the exact same time. And everyone that like I gave it to was like, this is like the best lettuce I've ever tried. And that was from a Dollar Tree seed packet of iceberg lettuce, and it was just like the best iceberg lettuce ever. And I never bought another seed packet from the Dollar Tree for that lettuce, and I kick myself every single time because I would like to grow more of that specific lettuce. And that, my friends, is all that I have for you. I'm going to go inside. It is cold and it is starting to get windy here. I hope that you guys enjoyed this Q&A, and I hope that you guys have good weather and have maybe a slight chance to get in your garden. I know some of you guys are under snow. I'm gonna go inside, chill for a little bit, and then get back out here and get to filming because it is cold, but not cold enough to keep me inside. So thank you guys for visiting our garden, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.